Hello and welcome. I am going to be pulling a card message for us all today. I want to start off though. Today is today is May 7th. Yes. Happy birthday to my baby sister Maya. Today is May 7th and we are experiencing here in the United States anyway, the new moon in Taurus. But boy, oh boy, there has been a lot, and I mean a lot of other energies, including the sun. We're getting a lot of solar activity. We're getting a lot of energy from the earth. It's just too much. It's a lot. We're all being taken through the intensities, both polarities. And I was reminded each time I visit the polarity that brings up fear in me or kind of sets me into survival mode, I lose all other faculties, meaning my creativity is gone. My ability to think of anything outside of what I'm trying to create just to survive, gone. It like really condenses us and boxes us into a very uncomfortable place. And that's very familiar. I'm being reminded even now, yes, that I lived in that state for a good portion of my life. And it created eventually over time extreme physical ailments, extreme anxiety, extreme depression, all of those things, until I finally was catapulted out of it. Now, I'm still going to feel and experience both polarities, but I don't want to stay stuck in it. And I want to put that out there for all of you as a message. You know, our brain, when we are stuck in survival mode, no, regardless what your situation is, we tend to fall into that fight, flight, freeze. We tend to freeze into it a lot of times, at least in the beginning. That's my experience. Don't know what else to do, but what I've done in the past. And that can be a trap, but it's also just part of the lesson. It's temporary. It's not permanent unless we decide to make it permanent. Like, this is the way it is. This is the way it always will be mentality. Then you might be in it for a while. Anyway, wanted to just put that out there. Each time I'm brought into these really intensified polarities, big realizations or remembrances. They're not realizations. These are things I know, you know, we all know what it feels like, what it is like in the high highs and in the, oh my God, what am I going to do? States of being. So let's pull a card for today, the new moon in Taurus from the Soul's Journey lesson cards, and get a message for us all. I personally have found these messages to be pretty spot on for my experience, and I'm in this with all of you. So please share in the comments if you are resonating or feeling these energies, and like we are really being ushered through a lot of stuff. Oh, there's a reminder that I had a photo shoot this morning that got canceled. So one of the things that triggered me, like, oh my God, I was relying on that money. You know, survival mode, right? It's all good. The photo shoot will happen, just not today. Anyway, let's get into what our message is for all of us today. May 7th, new moon in Taurus, Mercury conjunct Chiron, Venus is moving, getting ready to move through the underworld, which, if I'm reminded, every year I have the same experiences, especially when it comes to finances, when Venus begins to move into the underworld. Anyway, we're not there yet. Venus is in Taurus, her home sign. Mars is in Aries, his home sign. We do have a lot of supportive energies for us. But we've got to be mindful. We've got to be present. We've got to be picking up what the universe is putting down, what our higher self is putting down. We have to have empathy, compassion, be open to not knowing, not having all of the facts. And yeah, okay. Message for us all today. Interesting that loneliness came out again. Wow. This is a double whammy. And I'll tell you, that's part of the survival, that's part of the fear. Am I going to be in this all by myself? There we go. I knew there was more to this message. Bottom of the deck, we have death. I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. So yesterday's message was loneliness. And if you want to know that full message, you can go to that video. I'm not going to read that one from the book. I'm getting a lot of downloads this morning. And the universe is asking us all to choose to focus on the lighter side of life and focus on happiness, not bypassing. Now, if you need to go through your depression, your anger, your sorrow, your grief, allow yourself to go through it. But don't stay stuck in it when it comes to loneliness, when it comes to feeling like I'm all alone in this, because we are all going through a big transition. And you'll notice there are parts of ourselves that come online, that come alive, especially when fear arises. And we get to get a good look at those parts in the face and decide, I think we're going to put this story to an end, right? It's time for a new chapter. It's time for something more lighthearted. And see that there's support in that. And also being aware that being happy, there's your heart. There's that green energy of the heart chakra, both of these. When you lead from the heart, when you get in touch with your heart, we have to go through the hard emotions. We have to go through the death process. If we bypass them, they just come back to us. It's energy that is not able to be bypassed. It will come back alive over and over again. So embrace whatever you're experiencing at this time, but know that it is a choice. I had to go to the pharmacy yesterday. My sister had oral surgery, and I went to go pick up her prescriptions. And while I was standing in line, I had this sweatshirt on that I had on yesterday. It says, happiness is a choice, or choose happiness. That's what it was, choose happiness. And this elderly woman was talking to me about that. She goes, it really is a choice, isn't it? And I said, yes, it is. She goes, there are some people who choose to just stay in their depression. I'm like, yeah, a lot of us do because it's familiar. But do we have to stay there? No, we can choose to see a lighter version of a situation, or focus on the lighter side of life and focus on what brings happiness and joy to the heart, because that energy center of the body, of our experience, is linked to our higher self. It will guide us into a much more enjoyable experience. Even if you can't escape your current physical experience, and you don't really want to escape them, these are experiences that we must go through, as challenging as they can be. Let's get one last card here. I feel like there's a little bit more to this. But especially on a new moon means new energy, new chapter. So allow that what is being asked to come to an end, allow it to come to an end. Whether it is a situation you can no longer control, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a life challenge, whether it's your physical body challenging you. Give up the fight, give up the struggle. Not meaning like don't fight for your life. That's not what I mean. Give up the resistance. Give up the denial, I'm hearing. Wow. Give up the illusion. Give up the illusion of whatever the mind is the old story. It's an old story. An old story. And it truly is. It's our old story. And it's also an old story that was passed on to us but from generation after generation after generation. That we are separate. That we are separate from each other. That we are separate from all living beings on this planet. But we're separate from God, from Source, from the stars, the sun, the moon. That is an illusion. That's what we want to let go of. We can get into the heart. We can tap into just being more lighthearted about it, surrender, and then focus on what, from this point, what would make me happy? Whether it's just a smile or a phone call from someone or going out in nature, a flower. I'm just grasping at things, but what could actually sing to my heart in this moment? And watch how the energy turns around when you start to feel these energies versus this old battered card of loneliness. I'm in this alone. I am alone. We're not alone. We are not alone. So that is the main message for today, to focus on the lighter side of life and happiness and joy and peace. Much love to you. I hope you found this to be helpful.